What's up, fight fans? We are here live with you. Actually, it's not live. It's via tape. But we are here to count down some of your favorite interest in the upcoming Metamoris card. That's right, Metamoris 3. We have assembled some of the best minds in Jiu-Jitsu, and when they canceled, we got the rest of these idiots to come down and talk about Metamoris 3. With me today, I'm your host, of course, Rafa Sparza from verbaltapcast.com. We have Matt Kirtley from Aesopian.com. Matt, how are you doing today?
Good. You said it right this time. So congratulations.
I worked very hard to phonetically correct my grammar.
Thank you very much. And is it okay if I call you Hoff?
Actually, yeah, you can do that, although it's very hard to live up to the promise of being good at jiu-jitsu when you're named Hoff.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Also joining us, we also have Lex Friedman.
I hate you, man. It's Friedman. We went over this like 10 times.
Did we?
Yes, I am a Russian immigrant. I told you this is a very personal thing to me.
That's fine, but it says Friedman, F-R-I.
No, I know. We spelled it wrong when I moved to the country. It's a little mistake. I have to live with it for the rest of my life.
Also here, the tango to my cash, Kevin Phillips from verbaltapcast.com. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm super disappointed I'm the only one that wore a gi. I thought we were... Was there not like a training thing? I guess I hadn't thought about the logistics yet, but I'm ready.
Kevin, you look like an out-of-work Jedi.
I feel like an out-of-work Jedi. I'm drinking whiskey. It's still daylight. I'm there. I think this is the definition.
All right, and that's the panel that we have for you guys today. We're going to go ahead and talk about Metamoris 3. Yeah?
You want to screw up the name of my website again? One of them?
Oh, which podcast are we talking about? This is my BJJ podcast arch nemesis, Paul Moron. Paul, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Since you, as a host, have already screwed up, Lex is from the Take It Uneasy podcast, so thank you, Lex, for being on. I actually have two podcasts, the Journey podcast and also Open Mat Radio.
Not a fan.
I like
but
radio.
Enough with the chatter. I like that, Lex. Oh, by the way, much like the game At Midnight, we may be handing out stripes instead of points. So, stripes over to our friend Lex. Good job, Lex.
Yes.
All right, but let's cut the silliest. We're actually here for a purpose today. We're going to preview all of the matches for the upcoming Metamoris 3 card, but we're going to start today with the one everybody's talking about, Eddie Bravo versus Royler Gracie. We're going to go ahead and start with Matt Kirtley. Matt, 10 years later, why does this match still matter?
I don't know.
Okay, that is a terrible answer.
And
I'd be so excited if this was 10 years ago. I would be a white belt still. I would have just bought Jiu-Jitsu Unleashed by Eddie Bravo, the little black and white photos.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know. This just seems really weird.
Do you have an interest in seeing it?
If I travel back in time, I'm really excited about this. And right now, I'll try to channel that past version of myself to be excited about this too.
I'm going to go ahead and put this over to Paul. Paul, what does Eddie have to prove in this match?
Well, I think a lot of people would say that he's got to prove that the first time wasn't a fluke, but I think that more important than that is he's gone on to develop the 10th Planet system, so I see this as being a kind of old school versus new school jiu-jitsu battle.
So you're saying that this is going to validate or invalidate the 10th Planet system?
Not completely, but with Eddie being the founder of it and then Royler being old school Gracie jiu-jitsu, I think it's they're both archetypes of their respective styles, so I think it'll be interesting to see how Eddie has taken the rubber guard from back in the day to what it is now.
Lex, let's go ahead and move over to you. You're referring to Eddie as an underdog in an article that you put up today. Why do you feel he's the underdog?
Well, I know he was definitely an underdog back in the day, and I'm going to channel the same innocent little kid I was back in the day when this mattered.
I'm going to stop you right here. Who the hell actually believes you were an innocent kid back then?
In Russia, you're not allowed to do anything, so you just sit in the room alone. Innocence is preserved for you by the state.
I'm going to limit you to your in Russia stories to just twice per response.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
If he doesn't use them up, can I use one of them?
Great question. Stripes over to Matt. Let's go over to Kevin. Kevin, you're wearing a gi right now. Would that be allowed to be grabbed if they were using this match right now?
Well, it's unclear exactly what they've decided on as their equipment of choice. It might be gi pants and a rash guard. Either way, I think we are dramatically underestimating how cool this matchup is. Come on, there's no other sport where you can get giants from 10 years ago, put them out on the mat, and it's still going to be as cool as it was a decade ago. That's what's cool about jiu-jitsu. This is going to be fucking amazing. Though, I would like them to just kind of say what the uniform's going to be. That would be nice if we just knew.
Didn't they just try the premise with De Niro and Stallone, and that movie sucked?
For the grudge match?
Yeah, like, let's get some old guys and make them fight. Yeah,
Then again,
Niro and Stallone being known the world over as two very competitive boxers back in their prime.
ADCC just announced Laborio and Zamario, so there is seemingly a market for the masters and senior level guys competing in super fights. Just putting that out there.
Great. No one cared about that analysis, Paul. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to Matt. Matt, you seem to be displeased with Kevin's answer. You were shaking your head, and I really need you to clarify. Why are you not that excited about this match? Or are you just hiding it through some kind of fake out right here?
I think I'm just trying to prepare myself because I want this to be an exciting match and it'd be like just something crazy to happen. Like either Royler just goes out there and like Gracie gives his way into Mount and like Americanas him like the oldest school way possible. That'd be hilarious. Or there's like a flying loco plata. But I feel like it's going to be so much more disappointing than that. It's just going to never. This will never be resolved. How many times has this matchup even been made and then never happened?
Too many to count.
I just try to protect my emotions.
It's okay. I understand. You're a fragile young deer. It's fine. Kevin, turning to you, how do you respond to that? He's basically discrediting your entire point.
Well, first, Loco Plata. I don't think we're allowed to make up names and moves here on the podcast.
Have you done 10th Planet, Kevin?
No, I don't. Yeah, that would be.
But Kevin, you have such youthful enthusiasm for this match, and the resident black belt of the group is telling you, kid, temper your expectations.
Yes,
any of that?
You know what? Frankly, this is a Socratic environment. So unless you've got the black mouth, which I don't think applies now that I say it out loud. If you had Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan coming back now, it would be like, oh, that's not going to be a very impressive game. These two have evolved. They've evolved into probably better fighters than they were 10 years ago, that's unlike any other sport in the world. And
I'm going to stop you right here. Paul, do you believe any of that? Do you believe that you get better in age in jiu-jitsu?
Oh, most definitely. And I think that the thing that we're going to see the most in this match is who's beat up the most, because in your Magic versus Jordan, those guys haven't been playing every single day in their academies. Not that basketball players have academies, but Royler and Eddie have been training, and I think the mileage tacks on quite a little bit more as you age. And Royler is a little bit older than Eddie, so I'm interested in to see who's beat up more in this than the other.
Lex, what is a successful match to you? Like, what is going to make this an actual entertaining, successful venture to you in this match?
Yeah, so I think they're 43 and 48, if I remember correctly. And an exciting match involves two buchechas, or Rodolfo Vieira and Buchecha going at it. And that's what we're not going to see here. These are old people going for 20 minutes. Have you seen the Masters Division? I respect greatly. Like, I'm a 30-year-old now. Everybody, even 30-year-olds, they'll move so much slower. It's so boring even to me. When I'm inside the match, it's boring.
Wow. Hey guys, this just in, the AARP has dropped their sponsorship from this show.
I'm sorry.
It's cool. No, thanks, Lex. That was the one sponsor we had on this goddamn thing.
In Russia.
Shut up. No one asked you.
Keep going.
Here's the thing, and before we close this out, Lex, do you feel you've gotten better at jiu-jitsu in your older age?
Yeah, of course, but
But not these people who are amazing at jiu-jitsu, right?
No, but I'm a purple belt. I think they peaked. I'm going to peak when I'm like 34, 35 because my skill is still growing. They got their peak skill at like 23, 24, and from there the body was just falling apart.
Well, guys, I think this has been enlightening. I'm going to go down the ways. I'm going to ask each one of you to, in 15 seconds, summarize who you think will win this match and why. We're going to start with Kevin Phillips. Kevin, you have 15 seconds. Go.
I'm going wild underdog. I'm going Eddie Bravo is finishing this match via footlock. He's gonna do something. He knows he has to. He's got to pull another Hail Mary. He's going deep.
We're gonna next go over to Paul. Paul Moran. Who wins this and why?
I think it's going to go to a draw, to be honest. I think that it's definitely going to be 20 minutes of Eddie playing guard and Royler trying to pass. If I had to pick a submission, if it were to be truly no time limit or anything, I think Eddie's probably in better shape, but Royler hadn't had a point scored on him in ADCC prior to getting submitted by Eddie, so I'm going to reluctantly go with Royler.
What a wonderfully buzz-killed answer, Paul.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be a draw, but if you force me to pick, Royler.
Which is kind of the point of this, isn't it? Like, that's the whole reason we brought everybody here, to pick. This is not a surprise.
Well, it's if it goes to submission. I think the higher likelihood is that this one will be a draw.
Let's go over to Lex. Lex, who do you have taking this?
I would say Royler by rear naked, but my prediction is that the match won't happen, and then the whole BJJ community will be outraged.
That's a thing.
I'm intrigued enough to ask because it has happened before. Lex, what happens if the match doesn't happen? What happens within the community?
Internet explodes.
That was to Lex, Matt. Wait your turn.
I have to quote a black belt I once heard: "The internet will explode." I think it would be actually give it more publicity than it would get otherwise, as if the match doesn't happen. I think this will be like Duke Nukem, whatever, the match that will never happen.
Wow.
I think Nick Diaz jumps in and saves the day.
Yeah.
Oh, please. Please. Oh, the best. Strikes to Paul Moran over there. All right, Matt, let's close this out strong. We've had a lot of opinions. I won't say if they're good or bad, but we've had a lot of them. What happens? Tell us.
Royler's going to get a contact high once Eddie gets sweaty, and the Illuminati's going to have to cut the feed when Royler reveals himself as a reptilian.
He's not a reptile.
He'll blink a second set of eyelids because he'll be tripping balls after touching Eddie. I agree with Paul. I think it's probably going to go to a draw. Or that's how the Illuminati will rewire our memory. Draw, maybe a decision for Royler. I would love a submission, but if all of the previous history of this never happening rings true, even with it happening, it'll feel like it never did.
That was deep. I got really inside all of our brains. Well, I want to thank you guys for helping preview this. I don't know that you really walked away with anything as an audience member, but to the dozens upon dozens of the people who have watched this video, thank you very much. We hope you'll join us for our next series of fight predictions. Whatever. We'll catch you guys on the mats. Thank you very much.